Well, good morning. Today is going to be a huge day, one of those pivotal days that really transforms this beautiful stone house here, because today we are finally getting our doors. No, I'm not referring to the external beautiful glass doors that we have installed. I'm referring to the internal chestnut doors that connect from room to room, as well as the barn doors that go on either end of the house. So it's been some time, but this house used to have these beautiful barn chestnut doors on either side, and yeah, we did take those out and replace them with glass doors. Well, because they were full of holes and rotting and very old. They were the original doors. I believe they were several hundred years old, which is mind-boggling that chestnut wood can last that long in this environment. But today we're finally bringing back that barn look to this house, as both sides of the house, which are the two opposite end bedrooms, are gonna have barn doors installed onto it, which will also help with sleeping, because this time of the year the sun gets up at 5:30 and that's just a little bit too early. Man, I am so excited to unwrap these doors and take a look at them. I did go last night and take a peek at them as they were standing them up, and they are a work of art. I also love this guy's van. It looks like it's a camper van that he also uses for his work. But take a peek right here. This is the back side of the door, so we'll wait till we can show you the front side. But man, it's gonna be something really special.
Wow. I forgot.
Yeah.
I forgot how we were gonna have them open.
Yep. It's cool, huh?
Oh my goodness, those are beautiful.
The color is just perfect.
So pretty. Wow.
That's stunning. So all of the doors are going to be bifolding to the bedrooms, which will be just really, really nice. We've got some really special hardware for them as well. We designed the doors on the outside to be, I guess you'd call it quad folding. There's four.
It's like an accordion.
Yeah, it's an accordion door. That way you can open them up and tuck them either side of the stone wall and keep them out of the way, or close them at night for extra dark while you're sleeping. And obviously security for when we're gone. But man, I don't think I comprehended just how beautiful these were going to turn out. He did bring a sample a while ago, but man, they turned out so much more beautiful than the sample. So unlike the aluminum and glass doors that we installed everywhere else on the outside, this process is going to take a little bit of time. I think we installed all the doors and windows in a single day last time, maybe 2 days, I don't remember. But these internal wood doors, they're very particular. It's going to be a much slower process. There's going to be a lot of, chiseling out stones to get everything to fit just right. But man, I'm so excited for this. It's an absolute work of art. All right, so the first order of business, we're going to install the doors on the outside first. But these are the old hinges and we can't use them anymore. And they're going to get in the way of the doors swinging open. The problem is that they're like really, really hard to get off. I've had to take a few of them off so far and they take a long time. Oh, posto. All right, so welcome back to my mad science lab as I'm trying to rust all of these hinges and whatnot. I worked on this last night, the same process that we rusted the planter boxes with. And while whatever kind of metal this is, it just doesn't rust properly. So it kind of starts to rust and then just wipes right off and doesn't work. So instead, we've decided to go ahead and paint them half dark brown, half black, in just kind of a speckled format. And it kind of gives, that old rusted look. It's not the same, but it's the best that we can do. And against the new chestnut doors, it does look nice. A lot better than this, that's for sure.
Quando è aperta non va oltre il muro, ok?
Penso meglio così perché più o meno sempre apri. Heather? So we have to decide, do you want, when the door is closed, that this is the front and then this is the back with the nail heads? Do you want the nails facing inside the bedroom or do you want the nice side facing inside the bedroom? That's tough. I almost think it should be outside because like if the kids' rooms are closed, you want to see the nice side,
You
right?
want to see the nice side.
You want to see the, this is technically the inside.
But what is it, how does it open?
Yeah.
Because I want this to be like when it's open, you want to see this part.
True. So it'll fold in, so then
Yeah.
you see the good side while it's open,
Yeah.
and then it closes like this, and you'll see the nail side.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, because you don't want to see that, right? No.
No.
Gira. Sì. Apri, vedi così, e quando chiuso, vedi così.
Ah, ok.
Così. Va bene? There's gonna be lots of last minute modifications. They actually made them just intentionally a little bit bigger so we can trim things if we need to trim around the stones. So making last minute decisions here, it's fun. So do we want the doors to be mounted to the center or further this way? So when they're open, do you want it to be flush with the stone or do you want them mounted perfectly in the center and then they kind of stick out away from the stone a little bit?
Well, you're the master.
No, I mean...
No, I like it like this. I think that's good.
Because if they're...
Yeah, no, I think you're right.
Well, now I'm kind of agreeing with
I
you.
like it.
I think it should be flush.
I think-
Because as you look at how much stone is revealed here,
Yeah, it's
that's a
too
lot
much.
of stone.
Yeah.
And I think that's the perfect amount, and then it can be flush.
Sta bene anche.
I think it should be flush, but
Ti piace così?
Sta bene anche così.
I think both look great, so I don't really care one way or another.
Fascette 5 più o meno, o quante?
Va
Sì.
montata così.
Yeah. See, I forgot about the profile. So you have to add this board to it, and then there's going to be very little.
su qua,
Quindi fascetta
Yes.
qua.
Su
Sì.
Qua ti resta
Middle
poco.
Sì, troppo
No,
poco.
non va bene. No.
So it
Non va
needs to be in the
bene.
middle.
Quindi facciamo un centrale.
Facciamo un centrale e basta.
Perfetto. Tutto cassa è distorta.
Così capisci dove è dentro il mistero.
Cafe.
Coffee!
Grazie.
Grazie.
Adesso voglio vedere un attimo. Vediamo un attimo, quando li abbiamo messe su tutte e due a piombo, vediamo cosa ci rimane
Ok, va bene.
di aprire.
Ok.
Che- Allora. Buono.
Sì, un po' tanto.
Tanto.
Fa niente, facciamo.
Aspetta che
Facciamo
ti
subito.
segniamo la metà.
Okay. So because all of the stones are, curved and whatnot, we need to close in this huge gap here by cutting away this stone right there in order to get this to kick back in a little bit more here. This side was pretty easy. This side's pretty good. Just a few stones were sticking out, but this side's going to take quite a lot more extra work.
No, lascia lì.
We're going to have to really dig into this one. Ma ancora due o ancora uno? Come ti pensi? Ancora tanto, sì.
Un po' questa. Forse un po' questa.
E sopra anche sì.
E questa.
Attacco dietro qua intanto.
All right, well, they continue installing those doors. I just want to take a brief minute to tell you about today's video sponsor, Element. And honestly, I'm just so proud that we have sponsors that I use literally on a daily basis like Element. So very simply put, Element is a sugar-free electrolyte drink mix full of the ever-important electrolytes such as sodium, potassium, and magnesium. And truthfully, this is stuff that I drink every single day. Normally, I'm drinking their sparkling mix. I really love the 12-ounce cans that are sparkling. My favorite flavors are all of the citrus flavors, but they're constantly changing their flavors. In fact, they just introduced this new lemonade and iced tea. This one's really interesting because it has all of the standard electrolytes that they're known for, but they've added in some naturally occurring caffeine as well from black tea. And of course, all of the flavoring is completely natural. There's no sketchy ingredients whatsoever. And what I love is that they use stevia instead of sugar. It's not an exaggeration at all that I drink this almost on a daily basis, whether it's their sparkling drinks or when we're traveling, I use the mixed powder drinks. I've been drinking various brands of electrolyte mixes for going on 5 or 6 years now because I notice my body just performs so much better. There's less brain fatigue, I feel more alert, and just generally I stay better hydrated with these mixes. But I've settled on Element because they don't throw in a lot of sugar. See, most brands throw in a crazy amount of artificial flavoring and just cram it full of sugar. The nice thing about this new lemonade and iced tea flavor is that they've added that caffeine, but it's black tea caffeine, so you have less of that caffeinated crash. I tend to drink far too much coffee, which is, I enjoy it, but then you have that heavy caffeine crash. So realistically, rather than that second cup of coffee, I should be reaching for this every morning. It definitely would help me stay more hydrated than drinking that second cup of coffee. But all of this to say, I definitely recommend you check out Element at least once. They have a money back guarantee, so that you have nothing to lose. The best way to order is to go to drinkelement.com/Voyagers. By using that link, you'll get a free sample pack with any purchase. That's drinklmnt.com/Voyagers. Thank you so much to Element for sponsoring today's video. Non è male.
No, adesso puliamo su un attimo.
Man, the unfortunate side effect of all of this is we've got stones just spread everywhere right now, which is just lovely. We've been going on about 3 hours now, and this is still the first door. That's why this process is slow. It's not just a standard door operation, but it's going to be worth it in the end.
24 più o meno.
It's a lot of going back and forth between chiseling out the stones, seeing if everything fits, lines up. But man, as he puts those doors in, that's gonna look stunning, especially from this side. I'm standing from the outside of the bedroom looking into it, and man, that's beautiful. Working around these stones is a little bit difficult, but the end result is something else here.
Piano, deve entrare un po'.
This is Alessio's handiwork. He worked for I think 6 days on these doors. Buongiorno!
Hello!
Which, I mean, that's a lot for a door, but it's not a lot when you look at it. So I'm trying to be really careful here, not mess anything up. So far, no broken stones. It's all going pretty well. What's for lunch?
I'm gonna have a little bit of, we had some leftover pasta sauce, so I just made some new fresh noodles and gonna have a little pasta with meat sauce for lunch.
Very good. And then hopefully today, by the end of the day, we have at least one door finished.
That would be really nice.
It's a very slow process.
That would be really nice, but you know what? They're gonna be beautiful no matter how long they take, so it's very exciting.
All right, so while the team is off at lunch, I wanted to show you something about this door here. Actually, I just realized that I don't think I've introduced the team. So today we have Alessio and his assistant Andrea working on our doors. Alessio is the master craftsman for everything doors in this valley. He's the go-to guy that all of the churches and the refugios, the mountain huts around the area, the restaurants, all hire him to do the doors because he does things in a very authentic, old school style of way. And that's kind of what I wanted to show you here. First of all, just look how thick these doors are. These are solid chestnut doors that are 5.5 centimeters thick. It's about 2-inch thick doors, a little bit over 2 inches, which is just wild. But what's really interesting, to me at least, is all of these nails that are put throughout the entire door, as these are hand-hammered nails by a blacksmith the old school way. See, we have the luxury today of enjoying nails manufactured specifically to the right depth and size and all of that. But back in the day, they would just make the nails super long, and then they would drive them through to the other side, like so, and then bend them over, and that actually has a clamping force to it as well, and kind of keeps all of the wood sandwiched together. I just love that they're still making doors of this quality to last another couple hundred years. There's something really special about chestnut, and that it has oils inside of the wood that make it last just a ridiculously long time. And then he's coated extra oil over top of this. So our previous doors, I believe, were the original, at least several hundred years old, as we know that the newest portion of the house was 200 years old, and then there were some portions of the house that are estimated to be, I think, 600 or 700 years old. So no real way of knowing how old they are, but I'm expecting these to last another 200 years. I'm not sure what I expected, but I'm surprised by how much surface area of hinges there are here. This is about 2/3 of what we need to do all of these doors. I had tried to rust these last night and just didn't turn out very well. There's something about this metal that doesn't want to rust. So I'm gonna spray them with a combination of dark brown and black. I did a test and I was pretty pleased with how that turned out. So that's the plan. But this is just the primer, that's why it looks white. I feel so bad for the kids.
It's a little crazy and hectic in there right now, and they're both doing their first like one-on-one tutoring for Spanish because we're learning Spanish now that we're moving to Costa Rica.
It's so loud.
It's like, it's all virtual, so the poor woman she's so nice that's doing their lessons, it's like in the background. Oh
But they're doing a good job.
They're doing great. It's very exciting.
All right, so now that the door frame is in, the rest goes pretty quickly, except there's a bit of scribing to do along the doors themselves. Here's the door that I made, and I'm used to seeing like a profile piece right here that blocks any light that comes through, and they don't do this piece right here. That piece is kind of to hide any imperfections with the amount of light coming through. So instead, without that piece, they need to scribe the door very precisely to make sure that everything looks uniform. And these are some seriously big hinges here. But man, these doors are heavy. You need heavy duty hinges.
Arriva sotto che gli spessore. Basta.
Ma dove basta?
Sì.
E adesso serve...
Adesso serve di vedere qua, quando chiudiamo.
Well, good morning. I think that these doors really represent just how complicated building a stone house like this actually is. Because if you think back to when we built the door openings, or rather Alessio and Carlo built the door openings, I believe it took 6 or 7 days to make the 2 door openings that lead into either bedroom. That was a crazy hectic process of knocking down the pre-existing stone walls, opening up those doors, hand chiseling out every stone and building up those doorways, and then placing those gorgeous, beautiful chestnut beams over top of them. 6 or 7 days even just to be able to create the door openings, let alone now just making the doors. The team worked about a full day yesterday and almost got the first door in. They're finishing up the final touches today. There's so much scribing around the stones and getting everything to be just precise and all correct. These are master craftsmen, both for the stonework and for the doors. It's just the fact that when you're working with imprecise things like stones, things take so much more time. There's so much character and love being poured into this home, and it fills me with pride. Every time I walk up to it and just look at it, I think about all of the hours that have gone into this house far before we ever took over it. I mean, this house has been worked on for the last, I think, 600 or 700 years in phases. And while it's exhausting and so much work poured into this house, to me, it's completely worth it. Are you okay, Dad? there?
No!
Why not?
No, keep this up.
All right, so I'm embarking on a little bit of a side quest here, because I just noticed this morning that the entire little roof area over top of the door is collapsing. This was all just kind of loosely tossed up here at some point, and you can see that it's all slid down, and these ones are getting ready to fall off pretty soon, the next couple of heavy rains. None of this was nailed in properly, or rather nailed in at all. So it's time to take it all down, put down a proper underlayment, and nail it in properly. So this little roof area over top of the door was made just before we purchased the property, I think. And it was just made with leftover materials lying around, probably with the leftover materials after they did the roof. It just wasn't nailed in properly, and over time it's all kind of shifted downwards, but it shouldn't take long to nail it all in and do it properly. I actually have some leftover roof tiles from our last project, especially the first row. The first row is a little bit unique, so I'll go grab those. All right, so I'm using screws. Normally you would use nails, but I don't have the right depth of nails with me. They'd be too long. I don't want it poking through the bottom. Actually, quite a lot of this, not exactly strictly doing it the quote-unquote proper way, but it's going to be functional. It's going to look nice. Not that you can really see it anyways, unless you open up the window and look down on it, but it won't slide off and hit somebody in the head when they're walking out the door. Decisions. I'll probably need to go back over this with a thin layer of concrete over there.
How's it going?
Good. I'm on the last row. It's a little bit weird because it's like wasn't set up properly for spacing and all of that, but it's never going to be seen. Not exactly sure how this last little row is going to seal up, but again, it's just it doesn't matter because you won't see it unless you're hanging out the window like you are currently.
Yeah, which you know, I plan to just sit out the window here all the time.
All right, there we go. That's the finished product there. For the last row, there's just nothing underneath there. It's just dead air, nothing for me to nail into. So rather than build the structure, rebuild it over again, I just decided to caulk on some adhesive, some strong construction adhesive on that top row. And then I'll come back later on and I'll put a little bit of a layer of concrete against this area right here. And that'll help hold everything into place. It's just, believe it or not, I have no concrete on site right now. So I'm just working with what I have. But that's that. And so I just walked in after working on that little overhang area to find that they have, in fact, installed not just one, but 2 doors already.
They look amazing.
This is so cool. Let me go to this side over here.
Wow.
Close them.
See you later.
That is incredible. I'm so pumped about that.
Oh my gosh, they're
It was so much work to get them to shave down and close just right. This particular door, for some reason, gave them a lot of trouble. And then once they got that door in, the next door flew in like an hour. I didn't ask them, but I think that one took like 10 or 11 hours for some reason. And then this one flew up in like an hour and a half. It's very cool. This one still needs a little bit of adjustment on the top that they're going to do after lunch here. And then all of the doors need to have some concrete put behind there, just the same type of concrete that we use for the pointing. And that'll help solidify everything into place. But
It's gonna look so nice.
That's exciting.
It's amazing. It's beautiful. I was a little bit worried about the way the back of the doors were gonna look because they just seem kind of plain compared to the front. But with these hinges, and then we'll have a lock on it. It looks really nice.
Really
with all
like the
nail
character,
marks
yeah,
and everything.
The character of all the nails coming through is really nice. Tomorrow he's going to bring some handles and locks. I think there's a lock that goes up there, and then we actually bought some handles from our travels.
Yeah.
I don't know if we're going to use what he's going to bring us tomorrow. If we'll use our own stuff, we'll have to see what he brings us. I feel like Heather and I both are like almost slurring our words because we're so tired from jet lag. But then last night we made the foolish decision to go out as a family and watch a late night movie. We saw, what was it called?
The Mandalorian and Grogu.
The Mandalorian and Grogu, which was awesome. It's so fun to be able to see movies like that with the kids now that they're older. We have an awesome movie theater like 45 minutes from here that shows English movies on opening day, but only really late at night. So we didn't get back until like 11 p.m. last night. So we're between that and jet lag, we're like stumbling and slurring our words and tired.
So if we sound a little bit off or what we're saying doesn't make sense, you'll understand why.
All right. Speaking of Grogu, show me what you made. Or is it Grogu?
It's Grogu.
Sorry. That is a cute little Grogu. All right, so they're burning through those hinges quickly. I've just got like another dozen more to go. Again, first with the primer, then with the final color. I doubt you can see this on camera, but I'm quite pleased with the color of how this is turning out. I'm doing like a base coat in black and then a dark brown over top of that. It just, gives it a nice little look to it. My favorite thing to do in the morning, aside from obviously just sitting on the terrace and enjoying a nice cup of coffee with the view, is to walk around these terraces and just get ideas and dream up future projects. And Heather mentioned yesterday that she really would love to have a yoga platform somewhere where she can do yoga in the mornings, someplace in the shade. And she has a spot right now that's really cramped and and she's like doing yoga on the dirt with stones and whatnot. And I'd love to make her a nice yoga platform someplace further away from the house with a lovely view. And I don't know, I'm walking around. This spot right here is pretty killer. It's fully covered in the shade until I would assume late in the afternoon. And man, the view, let me show you. That is just picture perfect. Gonna have a little bit of a barbecue. Just a small mixture of vegetables, peppers, broccoli, zucchini. Gonna throw some chicken on it. I wish we had barbecue sauce. We don't have any barbecue sauce. I should have gone to the store for that. But man, just a nice day to cook outside, that's all. Oh, and then the beautiful thing about cooking outside is all of these scraps just toss
Compost.
It's compost. My goal is to use this outside grill as much as possible this summer. We made it last summer, right? I think it was finished right at the very end of summer. So I just never really got a chance to use it more than once or twice. So the goal is this summer as often as possible. It's hot. Next time I design a grill, I'm going to design a cover to it. The amount of heat just radiating out the front is too much.
Can't stand right in front of it.
Crazy. Not everybody's gonna eat this much, yeah?
No, I don't think so. Chloe's opposed to vegetables.
What?
She likes broccoli. At least sometimes. Sorry, I have forks in my hand. I'm trying to hold the camera.